Way to go, Dad. You just ordered up some Dominoes. And you earned the points with your kids by throwing in the fun-sided new TV Dominoes dots. Now you're free to spend some quality time with your son. Maybe even teach him how to play baseball. Lots of baseball.
Have fun tonight. Get an order of new cheesy Domino's dots for just 99 cents. And buy a large one-topping pizza for $9.99.
Some paper towels say they've improved, but you know what? They're still not. Put them to this same test and they just fall apart. Only Bounty is quicker, stronger, so it holds up to even the toughest job. Bounty, stronger, the quickest of the ever.
You can own one with no money down and just $19 per month. You can't get this Bowflex deal anywhere else. Call us for a free DVD or video, or visit us online and find out how to get your Bowflex for just $19 a month today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man you're all waiting for, Mr. Jeff Foxworthy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How are you? Phoenix in July. Apparently the people that book these things don't get the Weather Channel, but it's been one of those years like that for me. In February, I was doing a show in the northern part of Minnesota, and it was so cold, a beautiful place. It was so cold, it was like 15 below zero. And after the show, we were talking to some guys backstage, and they were trying to talk us into going ice fishing with them. 15 degrees below zero. I said, guys, you know what? I appreciate it. I don't really want to be cold. And one of the guys says, oh, it's not that cold. He goes, we built a big bonfire out on the lake. And you call us stupid in the South. But I got to thinking about that ice fishing, especially from the point of view of the fish that gets caught and then thrown back. Think about it. In the animal kingdom, that has got to be the closest thing to one of those out-of-body experiences. That fish that gets thrown back, he goes back and he tells his buddies, he's like, dudes, I was just swimming along, and all of a sudden I felt myself being drawn towards the light. And it was getting brighter and brighter, and then I went through this opening, and I saw my dead relatives all around me. And I saw God. He was wearing a flannel shirt and a Budweiser hat. And he held me and said, it's not yet your time, go back. And that's been one of the cool things about doing this tour is because we've been everywhere in the country, you know, and traveling, it's never a lot of fun, but since 9/11, it's so much more difficult in the Atlanta airport. I live in Atlanta. In the Atlanta airport, you know where you go through the metal detectors? They have now built a giant plexiglass box that contains all the things that are no longer allowed in your carry-on luggage. And in that box, there is a leaf blower and a Coleman lantern. So if you are an international yard man that likes to work nights, you are SOL right now. A leaf blower. Who is hijacking a plane with a leaf blower? You turn the plane around and mess your hair up so bad your mother never recognized you. If your job requires you use a leaf blower and you have to get on an airplane to get to that job, it's really to review your territory. You see a lot of things in airports. You know, they tell us now the economy's bad. You see it in the airports. Because everywhere we go now, all the rental car places are selling the used rental cars. And I have driven some bad vehicles in my life. I have never been so desperate for an automobile, I wanted a used rental car. Because you know what people do to rental cars. My mother will not drive 55 miles an hour. You put her in a rental car, she's doing donuts in the grocery store parking lot. Buying a used rental car is kind of like going to a house of ill repute looking for a wife. Anything that's been driven that hard by that many people car, because if you pay the extra insurance, you can total that rental car and they'll bring you another one. And I recommend always get the additional insurance. They're like, Mr. Foxworthy, would you like the additional coverage? I'm like, yes, I would. Because you got a Ford Fiesta that's about to see more airtime than a skateboard at the X Games. So welcome to our job. You know, we talk about this all the time. We feel like we have the coolest job in the world. And it's funny because you're like tonight, you get to meet a lot of people backstage. When you're a comedian, the number one thing people say to you when they meet you, they're like, where do you come up with material? And the honest answer, I think at least for us, is the best stuff is not stuff you make up. It's true stuff. Now, that being said, I have to share this story with you. Last year, I was hosting a show for the Children's Hospital in Atlanta, and a couple came up to me, and the man said to me, hey, I bet you done heard of a redneck thing. And I was thinking, well, I've heard a lot of them, but I love talking to folks. I said, no, go ahead. He said, my wife and I decided if we ever had the chance to meet you, that we had to tell you about the time we were down at her family's house, and while we were there, her brother got his nipple bitten off by a beaver. I said, you have my attention. Because it's kind of hard to walk away from a story like that. You're almost required to say, how did that happen? Oh, and they were happy to share the whole tale. Apparently the brother and his buddy were driving down the road and a beaver ran across the street and they accidentally hit it with a truck, and then the beaver went down into the ditch on the side of the road. So they decided they were going down in the ditch to find this thing because they wanted to take it to the taxidermist, because we all know how pretty they look on a Thanksgiving dining room table just holding that turkey up. So he said he went down in the ditch, he found the beaver, he picked it up by the tail, and he said, look at it. It ain't cut up or bloody or nothing. And apparently, nothing is the word that brings a beaver back to consciousness. And at that point, the animal lurched out and bit his nipple off. Did not bite it, bit it off. O-F-F off, bit it off. That is a new kind of hurt right there. And it is so rare, I am at a loss for words. The only reply I could come up with, I said, I bet that is the only time in history the headline of the paper could include the words beaver and nipple and nobody be offended by it.
What's more outrageous than South Park and Chappelle Show back-to-back? New episodes of South Park and Chappelle Show back-to-back.
Dad, how you liking that?
That's right, people. Buckle up, baby. It's a new full hour of hard-hitting, ball-humping, chunk-throwing action.
It's like the Disneyland of Mexican restaurants.
That's a new episode of South Park, followed by a new episode of Chappelle Show, every Wednesday night at 10, here on Comedy Central.
Totally.
It's inspiring, but is it more than a car? Yes. Does it have the government's highest crash test rating? Yes. Does all-wheel drive make it more than a minivan? Yes. Does a lower stance make more than the SUV? Yes. That's a lot of yeses for something starting at $29,525. Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard.
What are you doing? I'm bringing Wendy's spinach chicken salad to the party.
Why?
They asked us to bring something.
That's why I brought the cake.
Yeah, but see, this is new. It's got romaine, baby spinach, chicken, and a sweet and sour bacon dressing with just 2.5 grams of fat. Way better than anything he's gonna serve. Hey!
Hi!
These salads are fabulous. Do you work for me?
Well, unofficially.
Who's it now?
It's complicated.
Wendy's new spinach chicken salad. It's better here. A lot of women want their eyes to look dramatically younger. But an eye lift may be too drastic. Introducing the Generous Eye from Olay. No nips and no tucks. An amino peptide complex hydrates to allow the natural generation of collagen elastin. the generous eye from Olay. Love the skin you're in.
10 years of high fashion at low prices. This is one party we can't afford to miss. Morgan, you look like a perfect 10 tonight.
And you boys are a 20.
Ooh.
Hustle into Old Navy and party on with $10 specials for the whole family all month long.
With Old Navy, darling, looking this good is a piece of cake.
That's the other question I get asked. People always say, well, when you say somebody might be a redneck, what do you mean? For the record, my definition of redneck, it is a glorious absence of sophistication. That's all it is. And it could be full-time or part-time. Most of us are guilty of it. And if you're not guilty of it, you do have relatives that are. Think back to the last family reunion you went to, when at the end of it you got in the car and looked at your spouse and said, oh my God, what is wrong with them? The little one is not right. I guarantee you, the little one is not right. Oh, and trust me, I got rednecks in my family. I got an uncle, every time he gets in and out of the car, he climbs in through the driver's side window. The door's not broke or anything. He likes to, he's a NASCAR driver. NASCAR fans. I love NASCAR. I'll tell you this, it's a difficult thing to talk about on stage because NASCAR fans will start fighting with each other. They do, because every NASCAR fan's got that one driver they love, and every NASCAR fan's got that one driver they can't stand. And Jeff Gordon. It's always Jeff Gordon. You know what? I figured out why a lot of NASCAR fans don't like Jeff Gordon. And it's not because Gordon won the points championship last year, because he wins a lot of races. A lot of NASCAR fans don't like Jeff Gordon because Jeff Gordon enunciates. And there's not a place in NASCAR for that kind of stuff. See, true NASCAR fans want an interview with the driver where you have no idea what he's talking about. Boy, I tell you, we run pretty good all day long and did develop a little bit of a push early in the race, brought her in, Booger Jackson wedge in, and she ran like a place and go away towards the end. In the middle of the race, Ricky puked the motor. I got in his oil. I touched Dale there on the backside, but for the most part, the Hardee's, Burger King, Taco Bell, pizza, fried chicken, Chevrolet, it's awesome. As southern as I am, I'm like, dude, what? Were there any words in that? Speaking of words, I do have a few new redneck words for you. First one, mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, a lot of people here this evening. It's kind of a gift. They come to me in my sleep. I write them down. Brand new one, aorta. Aorta, cut that grass down by the ball field so them kids don't get hurt. It's not the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your life. Initiate. My wife ate 2 hamburgers. Initiate a bag of potato chips. And last but not least, which did you? Which did you? Oh, you didn't bring your truck with you, did you? Somebody will be using which did you tomorrow. And I always felt like you couldn't talk about rednecks unless you are one, and I are one. You know what? Growing up, I didn't know that's what I was, and now looking back, it was oh so obvious. No, I'm not making this up. My entire childhood, our mailbox in front of our house had the letters M-A-L-E painted on the side of it. And by the time I was in the 11th grade, I was like, that ain't right. That M's supposed to be capitalized. That is a true story. When I was in the 3rd grade, my uncle did that as a joke. And nobody went, woo, woo, where'd you get them things, girl? I thought, oh, she's going to get mad. And she didn't. She was so cool. She said, I bought them. And then Bud's wife Lois said, you know, I've been thinking about buying me some. And Bud turned to Lois and said, you are 62 years old. You getting a boob job would be like hanging a new chandelier in a haunted house. She said, well, I figured if I put some new lights in the house, you might stay in it longer than 2 minutes. My children share these genes. And I will say this in defense of my in-laws. My in-laws are nuts. But I know why they're nuts. It's because a long time ago in their lives, they looked at each other and they said, hey, why don't we have children? And I know I'm on my way to being crazy just like my in-laws because I'm a parent. I'm the proud father of 2 little girls. Their ages are 8 and 10. Thank you. I live next door to my brother. He has 3 children. They are all girls. Their ages are 6, 8, and 10. My mother has 9 grandchildren. They are all girls. The oldest one is 13 years old. I live in the estrogen ocean, in the middle of the naked Barbie Woodstock. Naked Barbies as far as the eye can see. There are days I have fantasies about being G.I. Joe on a 3-day pass. Hello, lady. But I love these girls, and I have learned so much about girls. I'll tell you something I've learned. I've learned girls can be a little bit more emotional than boys. No, I spent half my life trying to figure out what people are crying about. Like, honey, calm down, and just tell me what happened. Well, I came in, and I was going to go upstairs and play with them, but then they locked the door, and they called me a stupid head, and they said I couldn't be in their club, and I was looking for you, and I was calling you and calling you. I'm like, honey, calm down. You're going to scare the children. Now just tell me what happened. Idea what to do with crying because men have been taught all our lives not to cry. That's why when we grow up, we can be out cutting firewood with our buddies. We'll take that chainsaw, saw our leg off at the knee. We're like, I'm all right. Throw the leg in the cooler. Hand me a beer. I'm all right.
How much inspiration can you fit in a small car? Can you make it fun for 2? Or 4? Yes. Would 220 horses inspire it to gallop? Absolutely. Can it have more than enough room for her? Yes. Chrysler PT Cruiser, starting at $19,995. Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard.
The question isn't how active your room. It's how active is your water. Made for bodies in motion. Propel Fitness Water. Flavored bright, so you hydrate better. It's how Gatorade does water. Propel.
Now, I don't want to scare anyone, but with thinning hair, you could end up looking like this. It's not a good thing.
Get new V for Men thickening shampoo for up to 50% thicker looking hair for better scalp coverage. New V for Men by L'Oreal Paris.
Ancient evil returns. They are the ones
Red and blue are coming in.
who will protect our world. A secret agency who has been kept hidden until now.
Can't find new Ritz chips? Guess they're even more popular than we thought. We're making them as fast as we can. Sorry.
There are a lot of imitators. But only one Chappelle Show.
Afternoon, baby.
Smell like french fries.
Please back delegation. Two Tiger Woods.
Chappelle Show. Catch an all-new episode Wednesday at 10:30, right here.
I have a lot of guys will say to me, man, how you live with all those women? I love living with all those women because I've accepted the fact they just about have got me trained the way they want me. See, a lot of men go through their entire lives never realizing they're being trained. Guys, if you got a wife, a girlfriend, a mother, or a daughter, you are being trained. And just because they ain't using the cattle prod don't mean it ain't happening. I've been married 18 years to an awesome girl. It did not dawn on me until about year 5. She was training me, and I remember the night I realized it. We were both in bed reading one night, and my wife said, "I'm hot." And I closed my book, got out of bed, walked over to the wall. I turned on the ceiling fan. I was almost back to the bed, and I went, whoa. I wasn't hot. And I guarantee you the next morning she called her mother and said, "Mama, it is working so well." Last night all I had to say was, "I'm hot," and he got out of bed and turned on the ceiling fan. And I'm sure her mother said, "Baby, I am so proud of you. Oh, I'd put your daddy on the phone and let you tell him, but I just said I'm hungry and he ran into town to give me something to eat." Guys, do you know why they are able to train us? They are smarter than us. It ain't that big a deal. That's saying you're smarter than a creature that every time it takes off its underwear, it tries to grab them with its toes, flip them in the air, and catch them with its hand. You are smarter than that. It is a good feeling when you catch them on the first try, though, isn't it? Them underpants right there. See, women are smart, and women keep men confused. Because, like, a lot of times men and women can say the exact same thing to each other and get totally opposite responses. Like a woman can say to a man, "I'm not wearing any underwear." Man's first thought is, "All right, might get lucky." But if a man says to a woman, "I'm not wearing any underwear," her first thought is, "Oh no, I'm going to have to wash those pants twice." And I found from living with all these women, you know, it's funny, men and women worry about totally different stuff. Like, I wish I had a dime for every time in 18 years of marriage that my wife has said this one to me. Usually right when we're walking out of the house, she'll go, "How's my butt look?" If you've been married longer than 10 seconds, you know the answer to that one. Great! You know, it's so small I could barely see it in this light. But apparently women put a lot of thought into what their butts look like. Ladies, do you know men are not even aware of the fact we have a butt till it starts itching? And a lot of guys aren't aware of the fact scratching it in public might be offensive to somebody. Mr. President, how you doing? Good to see you. And men ought to keep our hands off our rear ends. We should. For a lot of reasons. The biggest one is because we are causing our own butt erosion. We are. Have you ever seen an old man's butt? No, you have not, because they don't have one anymore. They've scratched it all off. An old man's butt looks like you made a frog stand up and put on a pair of double knit pants. When you lie down to go to sleep tonight, I want that to be the last visual image. That frog pulling them britches up. And I have lots of theories about women, and I'm sure none of them are right. But you know what I found out? Women have just as many theories about men. Probably the most common theory women have about men, I bet I've heard this one in every state. Goes something like this. Well, if he's got big feet, then you know. Or if he's got big hands, or if he's got a big nose, or if he's got big ears. Well, I tell you what, he better be packing, because that's one goofy-looking guy right there. And silly as it is, men do worry about these things. And ladies, bless your heart, you have come up with all these expressions to reassure us. Oh, honey, it's not the size of the ship, it's the motion of the ocean. Which might be true, but I know it takes a long time to get to England in a rowboat. A couple of ladies writing that down. Takes a long time. And talking about time, that's something else I've learned in 18 years of marriage. Guys, when it comes to romance, don't be in a hurry. Because see, women are like diesel engines. And what I mean by that is, it may take a little while to get them warmed up. But once you do, they can run a long time. Whereas men, on the other hand, see, men are more like bottle rockets. Ooh, ah. You guys have been great. Thanks for listening to me. I do appreciate it.
Redneck Weekend is brought to you by Castrol GTX. The motor oil as advanced as your engine.
When it starts showing up in video games, don't let the needle-pushing T5 turbo performance mess with your mind. It's still built like a Volvo. Introducing the all-new Volvo S40.
Taco Bell's new Fiesta Taco Salad. All the tastes you love with a new tangy chunky salsa and new lime seasoned crunchy tortilla strips. Now even more irresistible. For a taco salad that's even better than the original, think outside the bun.
I joined the Navy because I had a plan. I wanted to work for myself.
The Navy taught me the discipline I needed to achieve that goal.
It gave me the strength, body, and mind.
And the knowledge to get ahead.
It was the building block for my success. Today, I own my own business.
The Navy gave me more than just a strong foundation.
It gave me the courage I needed to find the person in me.
Navy, accelerate your life.
Casual Male Big and Tall presents me, George Foreman, with my new Comfort Zone collection. Collars stretch, waist adjust, shoulders expand, adjustable, incredible. Get into my comfort zone only at Casual Male Big and Tall.
To be a criminal mastermind, you're all going to be incredibly rich. Takes charm, wit, and quick thinking.
I'm not even absolutely certain I heard anything at all.
The Lady Killers is an early contender for Best Picture of the Year. Oh my, it's hilarious. With Tom Hanks' best performance as Forrest Gump.
It was easy to do.
The Lady Killers. Rated R. Starts March 20.
Imagine better entertainment. The Total Choice Plus package from DirecTV offers 15 extra channels for just a few dollars more. Great channels like VH1 Classic, PBS Kids, 5 Discovery channels, and more. With over 135 channels in all, Total Choice Plus has more choices for everyone in the family. Call 1-800-DirecTV and order today.
All good things come to an end. Good night, folks. Or do they? The Stars free preview weekend may be over, but you can keep the hit movies coming. Call DirecTV now and ask for Stars, one of 12 distinct channels in the Stars Super Pack. It's the only premium channel where you'll see new hit movies like Too Fast, Too Furious, Hope, and Finding Nemo. And as a special bonus, if you're a new Stars customer, you'll get a free prepaid $15 Visa gift card. Good wherever Visa debit cards are accepted. Call 1-800-DirecTV and ask for Stars or visit DirecTV.com today.
I want you to do me a favor. Keep this going. Bring my buddy Bill Engvall out here one more time. Billy! Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Foxworthy right there!
Hey, keep it going. Bring back Ron White, Larry the Cable Guy.
They great.
You guys have been simply awesome.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. You know, I got to tell you, this show has been the most fun thing I have ever done in show business. And when we first started doing this, the first night we had no idea of how to close it. And I will tell you this, when you're a comedian, the greatest thrill in the world is making people laugh. But it gets your adrenaline going so much that there's no way you can possibly go to sleep at the end of the night. And so we've all been friends for about 15 years. And so we have spent so many nights at the Waffle House at 2 o'clock in the morning just sitting around and telling stories. And so we decided, you know what, that's the way we're going to close this thing every night, is to just come out and tell stories that has made each of us laugh through the years.
And I got to tell you something, everybody's got great stories, but Ying Yang here, you got to tell the story about when you took your sister to the flea market because she was all bummed out. Remember that?
Yeah, she make Ray Charles flinch. Well, my sister is covered with mold. She's got mold all over her face there, a bunch of mold. And we used to call her Old Moldy. But she went down there to church and got saved. Now we call her Holy Moly. And it ain't fun, to be honest with you. But she's feeling bad about her mold, so we figured we'd lift her spirits. Took her up to the flea market up there, get her something nice, and we was up there. She's already feeling bad about her moles, and then the night before, she got this horse, and it busted his leg, and I had to shoot it, and now it's got a broken leg and a gunshot wound. I don't know what you're supposed to shoot it for, but, I guess it helps in the healing process or something, I ain't sure. Get in there by next week, I'm going to shoot it again, I'll tell you that. But we was up there at the flea market, and my grandma couldn't make it up there. She got arrested at Bass Pro Shops. Yeah, she was eating a corn dog and got the farts in there. And they accused her of stealing a duck call and some stink bait at the Bass Pro Shop. Ridiculous. She didn't even have any pockets on that nightgown she was wearing in there. So we's up at the flea market. And my sister's feeling bad about her moles. And she's complaining all day long about her moles. My moles this, my moles that, my moles. So we walked past this feller up there at the flea market. Got no legs. All right, selling boots. And that's right, got no legs, half an arm, one ear. Name was Lucky. So I told my sister, I said, listen, D. Wayne, I said, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed. Because here's a fella, got no legs, selling boots, whistling, enjoying himself, and you is complaining about a few moles. You ought to be thankful for everything the Lord give you. And she said, you know what? You're right, I ought to be thankful for what the Lord gave me. She started to get a little extra hitch in her giddy up, started smiling a little more, and as soon as we passed that fella there with no legs, I heard him say to his buddy, good Lord, did you see the moles on that girl's face right there? That's right, true story.
Where's Dave Chappelle right now?
You can find me on the internet.
Go to ComedyCentral.com and get an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Chappelle's show that you can't see anywhere else.
I'm there 24/7.
ComedyCentral.com.
I'll be in the big booty chocolate.
Way to go, Dad. You just ordered up some Dominoes. And you earned extra points with your kids by throwing in a fun side of new cheesy Domino's dots. Now you're free to spend some quality time with your son. Maybe even teach him how to play baseball. Lots and lots of baseball.
Have fun tonight. Get an order of new cheesy Domino's dots for just 99 cents when you buy a large one-topping pizza for $9.99. Hit the door. It's a cheesy good time from Domino's.
How inspiring can a minivan be? Can it give you seats when you need them? And space when you're done? Yes. Can it take a mountain of stuff and make it disappear? With exclusive Stonehill seating and storage? Absolutely. Introducing the all-new Chrysler Town & Country, starting at $20,995. Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard.
When life starts to take a toll on you and your hair, you need an Oasis. Introducing new Nourishing Oasis shampoos and conditioners from Alberto VO5 with invigorating fragrances that are activated by the heat of your shower. And nourishing conditioners that leave your hair and spirit restored and ready for more. New Nourishing Oasis. An oasis for your hair.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. Better than he was before. Better. Stronger. Faster. AOL 9.0 with top speed technology built in for web surfing up to 5 times faster than with standard dial-up. Call 1-800-TOP-SPEED.
Introducing new Doritos Rolitos, an easier way to eat one of your favorite snacks. Now you can eat Doritos no matter what you're doing, because we've rolled them into a bite-sized shape with the same great taste and an even bigger crunch.
I can do that. You wish. Told ya.
Gotta get new Doritos Rolitos.
It's Ron's turn. I'm gonna let you guys pick tonight. He can either tell the story about, remember when they put the Bengay in his grandmother's girdle, or the time he got thrown out of the bar in New York City. Oh yeah, we gotta go to the bar. New York. All right, New York.
I got thrown out of a bar in New York City. Now, when I say I got thrown out of a bar, I don't mean somebody asked me to leave and we walked to the door together and I said, bye everybody, I gotta go. 6 bouncers hurled me out of a nightclub like I was a Frisbee. Those big old New York bouncers that think bouncing's a cool job to have, they just think about bouncing. They hang out with other bouncers talking about bouncing. They go home every night, watch Roadhouse and fondle themselves. For wearing a hat, I walk into a bar with a hat on, this guy real pissy goes, "Tuck off the hat!" And I'm like, "What's the deal?" He goes, "I'll tell you what the deal is. Gay people in this area wear hats. We're trying to keep them out of our club." I'm like, "Oh, really? The only way we can tell down in Texas is if they have their hair cut like yours." And he got all pissed. But he walked away and I took the hat off, and like an hour later I'd been drinking and I forgot. You ever forget? It happened to me. I put the hat back on. The guy comes over to me now. I'm between 6'1" and 6'6", depending on which convenience store I'm leaving. I weigh 230 pounds. The guy comes over to me, poking me in the shoulder with 2 fingers, says, "You're out of here." I'm like, "I don't think so, Scooter." And I was wrong. They hurled me out of that bar.
And then they squared off with me in the parking lot, and I backed down from the fight, because I don't know how many of them it would have taken to whip my ass. But I knew how many they were going to use. That's a handy little piece of information to have right there. Well, I called the police because we broke a chair on the way out the door, and I refused to pay for it. I refused to pay for it because we broke it over my thigh. The cops showed up, and at that point, I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability. God says, Mr. White, you are being charged with drunk in public. I was like, hi. I was drunk in a bar. They threw me into public. I don't want to be drunk in public. I want to be drunk in a bar, which is perfectly legal. Arrest them. Well, he didn't arrest them. Instead, he made me do a field sobriety test where you stand on one foot, raise the other foot 6 inches off the ground, and count to 30. I made it to woo. Is that going to be close enough? Well, it wasn't close enough, so they call in for my arrest record. There's some good news. Satellites are linking up in outer space. Computer banks at NASA are kicking on. There's a telegraph in Fritz, Texas going. This part takes a while. Shorthand. Now, I told you that story to tell you this story. When I was 17 years old, I was arrested for being drunk in public.
There kind of seems to be a pattern there, Ron.
If you knew Morse code, you'd already know that. And one DWI, which was a bogus charge because it turns out they were stopping every vehicle traveling down that particular sidewalk. And that's profiling. And profiling is wrong. On the drunken public charge in Fritz, Texas, the arresting officer, who I had literally known all my life. You know what I mean? This guy lived 4 doors down from me in a town of less than 400 people. We've met. He takes me to jail when we get there. He asks me if I have any aliases. And I was just being a smart ass and said, yeah, they call me Tater Salad. 17 years later in New York City, I'm handcuffed on a bench with blood coming out of my nose, and this cop goes, are you Ron Tater Salad? What? You caught me. You caught the tater. Thanks a lot. You guys like it. That's cool.
On the new Crank Yankers, a child brought up alternatively.
He was raised by a group of hippos.
Forced into captivity. Now, Wolf Boy and Puddles are out to avenge. No, Wolf Boy, no! Meet Wolf Boy Tuesday at 10:30 here on Comedy Central.
Nice resume.
Thank you.
So, Courtney.
Cameron.
What makes you qualified to co-host this year's Kids' Choice Awards with me?
I love kids.
Yeah.
And I like choosing things.
Quickly! Describe yourself in 3 words. Go! 1.
Okay. Well,
Three. Again.
I'm... Okay.
Mike Myers and Cameron Diaz host Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards live Saturday, April 3rd at 8, 7 Central on Nick.
I think you've got the job.
Here's something you won't find in a Subway. Ta-da! A slicer. Pre-packaged meats are no match for the fresh sliced meats on Harvey's Market Fresh sandwiches. Listen.
Fresh sliced meat is just so much better. Fresh sliced hands down. This is good.
Tastes like it's just been made.
Tastes like it's straight from a deli.
Very good that you can get this from a drive-thru.
I like it a lot.
It tastes really good. If you don't mind, I want to do
Harvey's Market Fresh sandwiches.
Not just made fresh, sliced fresh.
Want a laptop that can unclutter your life? Unwire. With a wireless laptop powered by Intel Centrino technology.
Like that. Sierra Mist. Tastes like shockingly refreshing lemon lime. Good dog.
I love DirecTV.com. I can do all kinds of things in one convenient place. Anytime, day or night. I can pay my bill, I can order programming packages, even pay-per-view movies. You've got to try it. It's really easy. In fact, I just ordered 3 romantic comedies. Don't tell anyone, but they're my husband's favorite.
Honey? Who are you talking to?
My bat speaks for me. I'm looking for this bitch. And if I get it, I'm gonna do some damage. It's always talking.
MLB Extra Innings on DirecTV has up to 60 games a week. That's right, 60. You gotta see it to believe it.
All right, it is your turn, and you don't get a choice. You have got to do some Here's Your Sign.
Thank you. This last year I had a chance to go elk hunting. I got me a nice one, had it hung on the den wall there in my house. And my neighbor comes over and he goes, "You shoot that thing?" I said, "Nope, he ran through the wall and got stuck." Here's your sign.
Hey, Bill, tell them about the one in Buffalo. We did the show in Buffalo, when they lost.
Oh, God. We did this show in Buffalo, New York, and we land at the airport. We all go down to get our luggage, and mine didn't show up, which I know happens. So I go down to the lost luggage office where everybody's in such a good mood. Who applies for that job? Who says, "I want to work in lost luggage"? You don't have a good day. That's like having a job emptying porta potties. You're just going to catch crap all day long.
That is beautiful. Did you just make that up?
Yeah. I like to use analogies in my show. That's where they compare things. That's funny. I don't care who you are right there now. That's funny right there. So I'm trying to be nice to this woman in the lost luggage office. And I said, "Excuse me." And she goes, "Can I help you?" I said, yes, ma'am, he lost my luggage. She looked me right in the eye and said, has your plane landed yet? I said, no, Princess, I'm having an out-of-body experience. I'm just checking on it. Here's your sign.
I hate to stop you, but I've got one for you, and I know you have so many of these things. But this happened to me last week. We're in the process of remodeling our house. We've been doing it for a while, and we have the painters in there right now. You know, and they're putting the sheets over the furniture, and we have a piano, just a regular up against the wall piano. Last week, one of the painters says to me, "Is that y'all's piano?" No, that's our coffee table. It just has buck teeth. Here's your sign.
He did not.
Did he?
Oh, well, I'll keep of it. I'm going to keep of it. Hey, let me try one of these Bill Engvall. Here's your sign, Dave.
I'm sorry. That did not mean to start this.
No, you knew this. The next album will go aluminum. My grandma is covered with mold. My grandma recently just passed away. 104 years old. That's right, but they saved the baby. I don't think he's kidding. Now, my grandma just passed away, 104 years old. So I go up there to the flower feller to, you know, get her flowers, and a card up there at the flower feller. And
Wait. You bought a card for your dead grandmother.
We had them there.
I know I'm going to regret this. What did it say?
Get well soon. I knew it was coming. I knew it. But anyway, 104 years old. Passed away. I go up there at the flower feller. He said, what's this for? I said, my grandma passed away 104. He said, oh, 104. How'd she die? How'd she die? She's 104. She wrecked her Harley up there at Bike Week. Here's your sign.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Hey, Bill, I got one.
I do?
Yeah, my son, Tater Tot, is covered with mold. Yeah, my son, when he was 6 years old, was going to fly by himself from Dallas to Austin to spend a week with his grandmother. I'm putting him on the plane. His grandmother's taking him off the plane. And the lady I was buying the ticket from says, is there going to be somebody there in Austin to pick him up when he gets off the plane? But no, I'm going to pin a $20 bill to his collar and wish him the best of luck. Here's your sign. Really good.
Bill, what do you say you try one?
Yeah, let me give it a shot. A couple weeks ago, a car broke down. I was on the side of the road, had the hood up, and there's smoke just pouring out of the motor. This guy stops to see if I'm all right, but he asked the stupid question. He goes, your car break down? Nope, car wanted cigarettes. I pulled over. You're fine. I was in the store the other day, I'm buying some pants, and I put the pants up on the counter, and the little girl behind the counter goes, you gonna buy those? Nope, gonna steal them. Just wanted you to see them before I walked out of the store. Hey, tell them about the one that you done did over at what you call her. Remember that?
Yeah, Bill, tell us about the one you done did over at that deal there, Bill.
He just ended a sentence in 9 prepositions.
He's an overachiever. I don't know about all that, but I know the one you're talking about, all right. I came out of the mall one day. The guy parked right next to me, standing there with a coat hanger in his window, and I could not stop myself. I said, "You lock your keys in your car?" He whipped around and said, "Nope, just washed it. Gonna hang it up to dry." Every time.
If you're missing the all-new season of South Park, this message is for you.
What the hell is your problem?
South Park, Season 8, the highest numbered season yet. New episode, Wednesday at 10, exclusively on Comedy Central.
The Subaru all-wheel drive away, starring Subaru Forester, the best small SUV ever crash tested. 1.9 APR for 63 months. Subaru WRX, 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. 750 cashback for 1.9 APR. And Subaru Outback, all-wheel drive ruggedness and car-like ride. Up to $1,500 cashback for 1.9 APR. Get the best deals ever at the Subaru all-wheel drive away, now through March 31st.
And cash or credit? Hey, Bank One.
I'm just really into whales.
I love fish sticks.
Find the card that fits you best.
Oh, she's so cute.
Bank One. Individual answers.
Now you can satisfy 2 appetites for 1 great price. With TGI Fridays 2 eat for $19.99. Come into Fridays now and enjoy a delicious appetizer and 2 of your favorite Fridays entrees from our special menu for just $19.99. It's good times, great food, and one amazing deal. Hurry in for 2 eat for $19.99. Now at TGI Fridays.
Stop jumping on the bed. Stop jumping on the bed.
You'd be happy too if you saved up to 75% on your hotel. Fly, sleep, drive, cheap.
Coming this year to a track near you, the Enzyte 50 with Smilin' Bob. Feel the thrills, feel the chills, feel the excitement of 3,000 pounds of raw racing power. Catch the action as Bob slices through the competition like a warm knife through butter and starts to make friends with some of the other fellows at the track. Yes, watch Bob as he takes the checker and makes his way to victory lane. You could buy the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. With his foot to the floor and a tank full of confidence, looks like it's non-stop action for Smilin' Bob and the Enzyte 50. This year, catch the thrills and chills of motorsport racing and experience natural male enhancement with Enzyte. 3 samples of Enzyte available while supplies last. Just go or visit morenzyte.com. Because with Enzyte, everybody wins.
It doesn't come from a store or grow old on a shelf. The technology that matters only comes direct from Dell. Just tell Dell about you and what you want from technology. Whether it's a PC or the gear to get more out of it, we'll make sure they fit your life and fit your budget even better. Because after 20 years, there's a reason Dell's the right way to buy. We only bring the right technology direct to you. Right now, this Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor is just $4.99 after mail-in rebate. Plus, you'll get a free CD burner and a free memory upgrade. Notebooks start at $6.99. If you want someone to walk you through everything in plain English, just call. Or point and click your way through easy online menus at Dell.com/TV. Either way, you're not just getting a PC. You're getting a Dell. And a smarter way you won't find in any store. Easy as Dell. Dell PCs use Intel Pentium 4 processors.
Well, folks, I know this, I can speak for the rest of these guys, this has been one of the most awesome nights of my life and everybody up here, and I know it's been good for y'all. But I know you are not going to leave this room until you hear some "You Might Be a Redneck."
If you think NSYNC is where your dirty dishes are, you might be a redneck. If you take your dog for a walk and you both use the tree at the corner, you might be a redneck. If you think a 401k is your mother-in-law's bra size, you might be a redneck. If your dad's cell number has nothing to do with a telephone, you might be a redneck. If you keep a fly swatter on the front seat of the car so you can reach your kids in the back seat of the car, you might be a redneck. If you've ever been accused of lying through your tooth, you might be a redneck. If you work without a shirt on and so does your husband, you might be a redneck. If an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger changed your life, you might be a redneck. If you've ever worn a tube top to a funeral home, you might be a redneck.
Oh my God! I can't even believe you just said that.
Why, did you see that?
I got one better. If you've ever opened a beer during a eulogy, you might be a redneck.
I'm just guessing one of your relatives.
My Uncle Jack. I swear to you, Jeff, we weren't even outside. We were in the church. And the Reverend had just finished the eulogy and we heard... And we look in the back and he's sitting there with a beer and he goes, "What?"
Mama looks good, don't she?
That ain't Mama.
No, that's her. They just shaved her beard off. Forgot my beard.
All right, well, as long as you're telling ones on your relatives, I'm telling one on you. This is one he did, and it's about 12 years ago in Iowa. I want you to think back. A couple of DJs told me about this. If you have ever ridden an electric floor buffer,
All right, wait. Tequila was involved. Get off me.
Wonder how many times his wife has said that. One more on you. If you ever empty the bed of your pickup truck by driving backwards really fast and slamming on the brakes,
that's how we move.
You might be a redneck. If you've ever used a bar stool for a walker, you might be a redneck. If you think Silence of the Lambs is what happens when Larry walks out to the barn,
That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. You're good.
if there is an electronic singing fish in more than 3 rooms of your home, you might be a redneck. If you missed 5th grade graduation because you had jury duty, you might be a redneck. If you think fast food is hitting a deer at 65 miles an hour, You might be a redneck. If somebody tells you you have something in your teeth and you take them out to see what it is, you might be a redneck. If you have a complete set of salad bowls and they all say Cool Whip on the side, you might be a redneck. If you wear a dress that is strapless with a bra that isn't, you might be. Think about that and try to sleep tonight, all right? If you've ever stared at a can of orange juice because it said concentrate, you might be a redneck. If you've ever had your nipple bitten off by a beaver, you might be a redneck. God bless you guys. God bless you. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
One by one, the candidates sought out the Daily Show.
And I guess I should probably tell you now, we're a fake show.
One by one, our reporters took them on.
Are you running to stick it to the man? I'm not trying to stick it to anyone. Not even the man?
One by one, they shared their visions.
Are you a mental genius?
No.
One by one, they all came. Except for one who...
A stick. Place your bets now on Comedy Central's new Japanese gaming series.
Banzai!
The show that invites you to gamble on bizarre stunts only to get
Banzai!
in return. Banzai, Thursday at 10:30, following a full hour of South Park. Play along with Comedy Central.